This podcast contains discussions of mature themes, including violence, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Listener discretion is advised.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time to kill.
How's it going, guys?
Yo, yo, yo.
How you doing?
Welcome back.
Thanking you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to be here. Lovely.
So we're back for episode 3.
It's one I've been waiting for.
Yeah, that's because it's the best one.
Yeah.
It's because it's the best film ever.
I put it up there, yeah. It's either this or Jurassic Park, so...
Titanic.
So, what have you been up to, guys?
What?
Working, I guess. It's not long since we recorded the last one, is it? So, but yeah, obviously watched the full film in prep this time, so because I hadn't seen it in so long, and just made me love it even more than I remembered.
How about you, Paul?
Just getting over an absolutely barbaric flu. It was just hitting me the last time we did this, and at the end of the conversation, I think I was saying cold. Went to sleep that night, and I woke up at 5 in the morning, and I was like freezing cold, and my body was just pouring water out. And I was like shaking into it. I thought I did that. Yeah, so other than that, just I rewatched number 3 last night for this. I watch it every year usually, and I really enjoy myself watching it again. So yeah.
Your illness caused you to miss out on what should have been a great night, because we were supposed to be going to Liverpool to watch the 40th anniversary screening of The Terminator and Terminator 2.
Oh, you didn't
But
go to see
Paul
it?
obviously couldn't make it. I did.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't make it. I would have needed a wheelchair to get around.
Did you do a double bill, Dan?
Yeah, I watched both films. Well, I tell a lie. I watched the first Terminator and then left, I'd say, about 2/3 of the way through T2 because I had to get home and it was a long drive home. But yeah, I stayed for I considered Terminator 1 was the main event. It was awesome to watch that in the cinema. I never thought I'd get the chance, and that's one off the bucket list for me.
Yeah, I saw a few years ago, I saw T2 in the cinema, but we watched it with that stupid, is it 4D or something, where the seats move and everything? And it was so hard to concentrate. But what was really cool, though, I found a lot of the scenes where the T-1000's, poking through people, the same bit on the chair would move like the same bit on the person's body on the screen and stuff like that. So it was like really carefully thought out. It was really cool, actually, but I wouldn't go again.
Did that get a bit old after a few minutes of I just want to watch the film now?
Yeah. That's why I said like you couldn't go and watch a film that you'd never seen before, I don't think, and like concentrate properly. It was good to go, but yeah, I don't think I'd do the 4D thing again. What was the quality like? Was it like a rescan, like a 4K rescan, or was it?
I couldn't tell you. I don't think so. It was cinema quality. It was good, but I couldn't tell you the difference. To be fair. Right. We are here today to discuss Halloween 3: Season of the Witch from 1982, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, starring the great Tom Atkins, Stacey Nelkin, and Dan O'Herlihy as Colonel Cochrane. We tried this new segment where I asked both of you to explain the film to me in 30 seconds.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Now, we've got to name this segment, so I'm going to use the name James came up with last week and call this the elevator pitch. Paul, you went first last time, so should we let James go first this time?
Oh, God. Are you going to count me in?
Or Paul, do you want to go first?
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's fine.
3, 2, 1, go.
It is the night of Halloween. It's not actually the night of Halloween at all. It's right. Start again. It's
Hang on, right.
I think it's like 8 days before, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah.
Am I starting again?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, I got it. I got to reset my timer. Okay. Go.
In the days coming up to Halloween, one drunken decides to fuck off his kids so that he can go to a small town and do some Scooby-Doo work with a bitch. Robots, masks, evil businessmen, no Michael Myers. That's how we're through.
That was pretty good, actually. I didn't think you were going anywhere. Then you brought it in the last sort of 5 seconds. That was really good.
That's my storytelling skill.
James, are you ready?
Not really, but okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so the week before Halloween, there's lots of spooky goings on. There's a murder at a hospital, and then the murderer sets himself on fire rather than, running away. So then that opens up a lot more questions like what the hell's going on. It's not just a slasher film, which leads then to the investigation of a small town in the middle of, well, it's not the Midwest, but small town America. And thank God for that.
No, that means you're gonna use.
No, I'm gonna play them both. It's fun.
You gotta do one as well.
Yeah, your turn this time, Dan.
Okay, I'll do mine. Right, ready? A pissed up doctor chugs beer after beer whilst fighting androids and witches in order to save the children of America. There you go. I did it in 10 seconds.
That was pretty good.
Did you put like a sound bite in there? Cat meowing?
Oh no, but
I did hear a cat meowing.
Yeah, there he is. This fat git.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your cat.
My God, that's like my old cat.
So, guys, tell me about the first time you ever saw this film and tell me your memories of it.
All right. So for me, I've spoken about it in the last couple. It would have been one random night. It could have been around Halloween, maybe not. It was on Channel 4 or something. It was on dead late. I shouldn't have been watching it, but I knew what Halloween was. I had seen, a bit of the first and whatever, and I was like, oh my God, Halloween. Let's put this on. And I did. And I was more than horrified. First of all, I was gutted. I was like, what is this? This isn't like, Halloween that I've heard of and seen. Like, this is weird as fuck. Thought maybe they'd put the wrong thing on or something like that, but obviously there's a lot of Halloween content in it. And then I don't think I knew of like the Michael Myers advert at the time, but I was just like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is. And then I think I turned it off after a little bit, and then years later I revisited it, remembering it, thinking, what was that mental version of Halloween? And I instantly loved it, and then it's become a staple of my Halloween, my October every year, pretty much.
What about you, brother?
I think the first time I watched it was actually maybe only a few years ago. For the first time, you bought me that Halloween box set for 1 to 5, I think it is. And as a kid, I'd never watched it because Michael Myers was never on the front cover, so I wasn't interested. Yeah, then I watched it for first time a couple of years ago and absolutely loved it. I loved the small town America vibe about it. I didn't know what to expect, but loved it.
Yeah, I came to it quite late. I watched it with a friend of mine. I'd never seen it again. Same reasons. No Michael Myers. Why would I bother watching this? So one night, after sinking a few bottles of wine, stuck this on, and I found it so funny, so hilarious, so over the top. I couldn't believe I had spent so many years just ignoring it. Not trashing it, because I wouldn't trash it because I hadn't seen it, but I couldn't believe I'd never seen it. This would be about 2017, so quite late, really.
I didn't know that.
Right, so let's talk about the film itself. Let's talk about what happens. Talk to me about the plot. You got more than 30 seconds this time.
I mean, the whole story's pretty wild, isn't it? I forgot about the whole Stonehenge bit as well. That's what it made me laugh when I saw it.
Yeah, so some pagans have somehow stolen one of the stones of Stonehenge because it's got some magical power, and somehow they've managed to ship it across the entire ocean and across the other continent of America, because Santa Mira, where the film is set, is on the west coast of America. So how they've managed to get this stone over to this children's toy factory. I don't know. In fact, I think the villain, the leader of the cult, Colonel Cochrane, he actually just hand waves it later in the film. When they realise that that's the stone from Stonehenge, he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe how we got it here."
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That's just their like scapegoat
Yeah.
answer for people who are going to be like, wait a minute.
I think he actually says that and actually just walks off, doesn't he? And it's just like, what? Okay.
Yeah, imagine the writers were just like, right, how are we going to explain that we got this here? And one of them's just like, I know, I've got it. Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's sorted.
Yeah, and then they wrote that into the script.
Yeah.
Exactly what that writer says.
Yeah. Verbatim, yeah.
So the plan of this witch cult is to, I mean, this plan is bizarre. It's insane, absolutely bonkers. They're going to try and sell these Halloween masks to every kid in America and make sure on Halloween every kid in America is watching the same Silver Shamrock commercial. So it's an absolutely bonkers plan, which we will get into later, but it involves all the kids of America wearing these Halloween masks and watching a commercial at the same time on Halloween night. Now remember that. So in the meantime, the film opens up with a man on the run from these men in suits. Now he escapes these men in suits and he winds up in the hospital that is run by Dr. Dan Chalice, played by Tom Atkins. What do you think of Tom Atkins in this role?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It's just funny, I think. You know, just his character just makes me laugh. He's like always drinking.
Is he more pissed than Dr. Mixter from Halloween 2?
He's more of a pisshead.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually appear to be pissed. Like, he's not acting drunk or anything.
No, he's not, is he? But he's constantly drinking. But
he's just more of a functioning alcoholic rather than he's not just turned up pissed. He's just all.
Yeah. Because there's that scene where he rings his ex-wife, doesn't he? He's like, right, you gotta have the kids, and then he's got a six-pack next to him on top of the phone box, and he just swipes out and he's like, right, I'm off.
She's waiting in the car for him, and he just hangs up on her from that phone box. He just grabs his Sam McGowan and just like runs across the street.
Straight across the road on a road trip.
Yeah. And do you know what I love as well? He's talking to Ellie, and he's like, he says something along the lines of, "Are we done for now? I could use a drink." And I always love that. That American phrasing of using a drink, because like we don't say use a drink, so we would say need or want. Yeah. But use is just like a funny little thing for me.
And I swear all they've done there is just check into the hotel, and he's like, "Oh, I need a break. I need a drink."
Why are they in the hotel, and who is Ellie?
So Ellie is the daughter of the guy who we see at the beginning, and the guy who gets murdered in the hospital. And she turns up trying to find out what's going on. She goes to him for help in a bar, doesn't she?
Yeah. So Dr. Dan is getting pissed in the bar at like 12 in the afternoon. He hasn't been in work very long. Great man. So Dan and Ellie, they come across a clue that leads them to the town of Santa Mira, where these Silver Shamrock masks are manufactured. So, like we said earlier, Dr. Dan abandons the weekend with his kids, picks up a sixer and hops in the car with a strange woman.
How do you like that opening scene? The mechanic, not the mechanic, sorry, her dad. Does he owns a mask shop or a Halloween shop or something?
Yeah, I assume so.
He's running away, and he runs inside that area. They start driving past and he bends down, and they keep going, but he's like completely in open sight. He's bending down, but he's up steps and not blocked by anything, so there's no way they can't see it. And it's like, he's like, phew, got out of that one. And then he starts running.
I love it.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Escape from New York.
Yeah, I get that.
So he's murdered in the hospital by another one of these suited men that have been following him. And the suited man, after committing this murder, calmly walks out the hospital, gets into his car, pours petrol on himself, and sets himself on fire, dying in a huge explosion.
Pretty gnarly way to go out, isn't it?
To put that in, straight off the bat, just this huge boom, lets you know what kind of film you're dealing with.
And at that point, you don't realise that the suited man is what he is. It's just, at first he's just a human, and he's just a very emotionless, neat and tidy human.
I find the way they reveal that slowly throughout the film really interesting, because when Dr. Dan is away on his jollies, he keeps phoning back the hospital to the other doctor, and she's doing the autopsy, but she keeps getting the wrong parcels from the police. So the first time she says, the police didn't send me any bones, I've just got gear parts and car parts. And then it happens again later on. She's like, again, they've messed up. I don't have it. There's no body parts here. And it slowly clues you into the fact that those suited men are androids.
Yeah, I really like the way that's done as well, because they could have just done it from his point of view. When he beats that one to death.
Yeah, that's Dick Warlock.
Yeah, it is.
I don't remember a time when I didn't know androids. So like at the beginning when they're chasing him, and when he finds him in hospital, that to me, because I know it, it's like instead of just being a normal rewatch, it's like I don't remember not knowing that they were. So like I think I wish I could go back and see it for the first time and realize that they were not human.
I've always known that they were androids, but even though I hadn't seen this film, I knew the plot of it. I'd watched scenes of it. I understood what was going on in the film. So I'm like you. I've pretty much always known that they were androids.
Yeah.
What do we think about them being androids? Do we think it's good or bad?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the bizarreness of the whole thing. It's definitely a story that has lots and lots of weird elements that are important, because it wouldn't be the same without.
It's just crazy. We spoke last time about the anthology aspect of Halloween, and it is such a good idea. I understand why this film didn't do well, because if there's no Michael Myers in it, it's not going to do well. But I would have loved to have seen the anthology Halloween.
Do you feel like this film would have done better if it wasn't linked to Halloween?
Yes. Were you asking me or the cat?
I was asking the cat, actually. And you goddamn answer. What do you reckon? Do you reckon if it was just called Season of the Witch and nobody knew that had the same people involved or anything, because it's not like that well known. There's no stylistic similarities in any way. It's got like sci-fi elements to it, supernatural elements to it. I personally think that it would have not been seen by many people. Cult film later on, but I think it would have been liked over the years.
If you advertise that it's John Carpenter and pretty much the rest of the crew, but just drop the Halloween from the title so people aren't going in expecting to see Michael Myers. It's called Halloween 3, but it's so not a sequel. So to use Halloween 3, I can see why people felt cheated.
I made some notes about the opening titles. So obviously the opening titles is kind of like the digital version of zooming in on a pumpkin, like Halloween. But I was thinking, do you think those opening titles were like high tech for the time, or was it kind of trying to look a bit shit? If you get me.
No, I think that's what it was like at the time. It's almost like that cassette punk aesthetic, almost.
Very much like that. Like the music is kind of like synthwavy, well, what you'd call synthwave now, which was just 80s electro music. That intro is absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever clicked that it was. I knew that it was like the zooming in of the pumpkin, but not so much that it, like the other Halloween.
Yeah, it's not so much zooming in, but it's just like at the end, it's like reveals it, doesn't it? It reminded me of the Psycho titles a lot. All the lines crisscrossing. So you think that would have been like at the time, like the best they had, if you get me. So it was meant to look like high tech and sci-fi.
Yeah, if you look at the films from back then, they wouldn't be doing worse than any others,
No,
that
I know.
wasn't
Yeah.
the best sentence, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. If you look at films like Blade Runner, the music from that film, that's like trying to be like futuristic-y. It's like cassette punk, like Dan said. Like it's meant to be futuristic, but it just ends up looking old, but still futuristic. Like what people thought the future was going to be like back then.
Yeah. Like an episode of like Tomorrow's World on BBC or something.
Yeah.
When you watch them now, they look awful.
Old Doctor Who and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even things like Alien, like I said, cassette punk, cassette futurism, they thought that the world was going to look like that. That's what spaceships would look like, with, big black screens with green text and big chunky buttons on the control panels.
I actually rewatched Back to the Future 2 the other day, and obviously their 2015 was quite different from ours, but the amount of things that they did get right, like a video call, film remakes and stuff, but it still had that, like, this is what the future will look like, but it looked old-fashioned to us now.
Mind you, some of the punks, the bad guy punks in that film, look like, I've seen people dressed like them in real life, so maybe they got that right as well.
Cybergoths.
Cybergoths. I used to be one.
No.
Do you remember? Anyway, moving on. Quickly moving on. Dan and Ellie, while they're held up in this motel in Santa Mira, they decide to go on a sort of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory little tour of the factory given by the owner. And they go with this family that have turned up because they have sold the most. I think they've won some award. Have they sold the most masks in America?
Yeah, I think he's the best salesman.
He's the best salesman. Buddy, Buddy and Little Bud, Buddy Jr., who is the most annoying kid.
Oh, I tell you what, when you first meet that family, it made me laugh. There's a shot of the kid riding off on the bike and he just flags his mum. Oh, it cracked me up.
It's the Kupfer family. So it's Buddy Kupfer, Betty Kupfer, and Little Buddy. Flips his mother off.
I think she's just like, don't go far, and he's just like, oh, fuck you.
It's the car and he just swerves out the way.
I think they're meant to be, obnoxious and annoying, but they're actually quite nice people. There's nothing bad about them. Like Buddy even says when he brings Dr. Dan in for the tour of the factory, he's like, "Oh, this is my pal. He's coming with us." He's quite a nice dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this family, they get one of the most horrifying death scenes in the Halloween franchise. I would say I put this as a top 5 death scene.
Yeah, absolutely. It's horrible. It's gruesome, and obviously it's a kid as well, so it makes it even worse.
Why don't you walk us through what happened?
So the family, they get a chance to watch Silver Shamrock's new trailer or new advert on the TV, but then obviously when they actually go in, it turns out to be pretty much the same. And Little Buddy's wearing one of the Silver Shamrock masks, the pumpkin, that was put on in by Cochrane or anything. Anyway, the TV starts flashing and the music is a bit different. It keeps like playing faster and faster and faster. And then I think the mask, it looks like it starts to shrink wrap around the kid's head, causing him to like kneel down and like collapse in pain. And then his head crushes and loads of bugs start coming out, snakes crawling out of his skull. And then I think that the mum faints, doesn't she?
Yeah, classic fainting mum.
And these bugs that emerge from this kid's head, it's not just bugs, it's like crickets and
centipedes.
Centipedes. There's a rattlesnake comes out. The rattlesnake bites and kills Buddy Senior.
Yeah.
We assume that Mrs. Buddy is a goner as well.
Yeah, one of the other snakes would have taken her out as well. Because like towards the end of the things coming out of his head, one of the snakes is absolutely massive. Like they start with small things like crickets and cockroaches, and then I think like a spider comes out and smaller snake, and then like the one of the last one's absolutely huge. And then obviously they start attacking the parents, the one that's awake. This whole thing made me, it obviously makes you think like that's going to happen. That's the plan for that to happen in every house in America. Is the plan for the snakes to kill the parents as well, or is it mainly just to get the kids?
Oh yeah.
Cochrane, he is, I don't know, is he 1,000 of years old druid, like a witch or something? He believes in the sanctity and the fear of Halloween. He doesn't believe in what it's become, a money-making, kid-friendly festival. He wants it to go back to what it was thousands of years ago when people were scared of October 31st and Samhain.
Yeah.
But if you notice as well, in the in the scene, the kid is holding onto his mask and he's shaking his head, and there's no screaming from the kid. He just falls down, drops dead. Now, in the novelization, it's because his throat and his larynx had already rotted away into whatever it was turned into, so he can't scream. So that's why he's not screaming. So yeah, if you read the novelization, it's actually quite a lot worse because it's very descriptive.
I think the DVD that I've got it must be the TV version or something, because all most of the gory bits of the deaths are actually cut out. So the lady in the motel when she accidentally kills herself. So she picks up a silver shamrock. What would you call it?
It's one of the charms or something that they hide inside the mask, which is going to cause this effect.
Yeah.
Once they watch the advert.
So that falls off one of her masks that she's got, and later on she picks it up just by itself, and she sees like a computer chip in the back.
That's it.
And then she's messing with it, and then this blue lightsaber comes out and strikes her in the face. But on my version that I watched, it doesn't actually. You see less than a second of her dead body, because the face is fucking horrible. But yeah, horrific. The makeup and stuff for that is amazing.
Here's another death that is quite graphic and quite gross. Is the town drunk? He meets up with Dr. Dan, and he requests a drink. He's like, "I ain't got no diseases or nothing." So he's criticising Cochrane and the whole toy company, but he's doing this, in full public view. So that's a death sentence for him. So 2 of the androids capture him, and they just rip his head off.
Yeah, so good. That's Dick Warlock again, isn't it? It's funny as well because at this point you still don't know they're androids, so it's just like, what the fuck?
There is a disappointing death in this. Dr. Dan's colleague that's investigating the dead bodies, and she can't find any body parts. One of the androids goes back and kills her by drilling her in the head.
I was so gutted when this happened.
Yeah, she's quite a good character. I quite liked her.
But she had made the discovery. He had told her to phone the police, was it?
And obviously, you've got to think that they're listening in on the phone lines.
Yeah, loose ends as well. They're not going to let her go.
Yeah, true.
They didn't know what they had on their hands and what he was capable of.
Yeah.
Clearly, by leaving him alone in a room. But they were like, tie off the loose ends. Let's not get caught for this shit.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought there was much need for tying up loose ends when, that same night they're going to kill every child in America, and it's going to be traced back to them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
People are going to know what caused it and what happened.
Yeah, but that's not supervillain logic.
I know.
It's the same as the whole exposition scene where he takes him for a secondary tour around the factory and explained everything to him. It's he didn't have to do that either. He could have killed him straight away, but he decided to be a proper bad guy. And
what do you think of Cochrane? What do you think of his performance, Dan O'Herlihy's performance?
pretty good. It's great for the film, Bit he's chewing the scenes. He's very over the top, lovely white hair. It's great.
Yeah, same. I think he's awesome in it, and I really like not the tongue in cheekness, but he's a bit over the top, a bit super villainy. I think maybe if it was a bit too serious, it would change the tone of the film massively.
Yeah, he's definitely having a good time with this role.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the main bad guy in RoboCop 2. He's in RoboCop 1, and he's a bit more morally ambiguous. But in RoboCop 2, they make him an outright villain. And in that, he's just this grumpy corporate CEO type. It's totally different to what he is in this film.
I've only ever seen RoboCop 2 when we've been drunk together, so I actually never remember it.
Paul, do you recognise him from Twin Peaks?
No. What? Who's he in Twin Peaks?
I'm sure he's the guy that owns... Does he own the sawmill? Have I got that right?
Is he the brother who dies but doesn't actually die? Oh, let me look it up. Yeah, Andrew Packard is in Twin Peaks, and I have never, ever made the connection before that it's the same actor. But that's a part of Twin Peaks that I don't revisit a lot. It's the end of season 2.
James, tell me about the end of the film. Tell me how Dr. Dan saves the day.
Or does he? Wow.
He gets tied up, a mask is put on him, the television's turned on, and he's going to have to watch the commercial. But before he watches the commercial, he watches the classic John Carpenter's Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, what do we think about that being in it?
I don't mind. It's a way to tell us, the audience, this is strictly a one-off difference. We are in a different timeline, different universe.
I think it's like I always think of it as John Carpenter, because John Carpenter did not want to do another Michael Myers film, so he was like, I know what I'll do. I'll put this in this film so people know it's just a film, and that's it. They don't have to touch that franchise ever again.
Well, this was his last Halloween film, I think. Did he have no involvement in Halloween 4? Have I got that right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
They sold their rights off after this one.
Oh, to the Arcades.
I was just researching it as well. I just found a Reddit post saying that all 3 people that were in RoboCop 2 were in Twin Peaks as well. Ray Wise, Miguel Ferrer, David Lynch's right-hand man in that, isn't he? Yeah. In Twin Peaks, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, in Twin Peaks he is, yeah. Ray Wise plays one of the bad guys in the first RoboCop, and Miguel Ferrer plays the guy that sort of makes RoboCop. He's in charge of the RoboCop project.
Oh yeah, of course.
Rest in peace, great actor. Ray Wise is good in RoboCop as well. He's just one of Clarence Boddicer's henchmen, but he's just so smug looking. He's great.
Ray Wise is excellent in everything. I was watching Mad Men not that long ago, and he's in that, but he's only in like a very small part of it. He doesn't even have that many lines or anything. Very underutilized. But I was watching it with the missus, and I was like, you would not believe the skill that actor has. Like, he can sing, he can dance, he's terrifying, and he's also very smooth.
Yeah, he's terrifying. Yeah. He's just got like I don't know. Every time I see him on screen, there's like an underlying. I know that's his character in Twin Peaks, but there's underlying madness and insanity. It's like actually so creepy.
He played Satan, didn't he? In Reaper. That's what it was.
Right, talk me through the end of the film. So, Dr. Dan has escaped the room.
He obviously doesn't like the film Halloween, so he puts his feet through the TV. And then he manages to chuck that mask perfectly onto the CCTV camera.
Literally what I was about to say. He's like tied up, but he's just like, he throws it up with just his wrist like that. And it perfectly. And when I watched it last night, I was sitting there thinking, if you were even as far away as he was, how many times would it actually take you to get that mask to land perfectly over that camera? Like, trying to do it.
Why does he even care, though? Because if they see that there's a mask on the camera, they're just going to go in there anyway. Like, he may as well just escape.
Yeah, but they can't see the mask. They can see the inside of the mask. So it's just like it's like, what can you see now on my camera?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, the cat.
Yeah, but then they're going to...
No, I know what you mean, Dan, yeah.
He's supposed to have the mask on, so they're going to look on the camera and see that he hasn't got the mask on. They're going to go back in there and put it back on him. And then they're going to see that he's not there.
What are they going to be more alert about? Seeing an empty chair and he's gone? Or are they going to see this and think, oh, something's wrong with the camera? And the android... Was he an android? It doesn't say if he's an android. He acts like one. He goes up to tell Bill, but he's on the phone bragging about stuff. Basically being a smug bastard.
He's talking to some guy in Germany and he's like, make sure you put the mask on when the commercial comes on.
Yeah. So the guy, the android, I'm going to call him an android because I think he is. He's standing there waiting for it to finish. He's like, this is very important, sir. And then he's just like hands him off and he's just like, so he waits for him to finish. And in that time, after he realises that the camera's covered, Chalice is gone, you know? He's had that extra time to just do one.
Okay, so Chalice, he rescues Ellie, who has been captured and tied to a table. And the two of them try to make their escape. But first, they want to stop Cochrane's plan where they can. So... they like Scooby-Doo behind this wheeling.
Oh my god!
They Scooby-Doo behind this wheelable set of shelves across the control room, and how nobody sees them moving. It's like Metal Gear Solid Snake in a cardboard box.
I was thinking when I last night when I watched it, like, if they weren't behind that, they would probably be less visible. They would probably, like. You know, if you're like focusing on something down below and you see like humans in the corner of your eye, you might be more alert, but you're still going to see this giant fucking shelf just rolling.
Yeah, and be like, oh, that shelf's rolling down a thing, I better go stop it.
Dan and Ellie, they pour all the medallions over onto the androids when they're up in the rafters, and this kills all the androids, so they're all lying there dead. This very, very much displeases the Stonehenge statue from earlier, which decides that it's now going to shoot lasers at everybody, hitting Cochrane and turning him into like this man made of dough or diamond or paper. I don't know what happens to him.
Yeah, like paper mache he looks. I really like that effect though. It's creepy as fuck.
It is creepy, yeah. He's got this knowing smile.
It comes back to your point earlier when he's like, is he a human or has he time travelled or...
Do you know what he actually looks like as he sort of like fades out into nothing? Because of his hair and like, his skin, he actually looks a bit like Michael Myers.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Try and get a picture of it. Like it's only like a still shot, but
do you know what that scene reminds me of, Paul? I think you'll agree with me as well. It reminds me a lot of Hellraiser 2. You know, at the end when they're in hell, they're in the labyrinth, and you see the devil, the Leviathan, and it's like this giant polygon shape, and it starts shooting lasers and things like that. That's what it makes me think of. Maybe the Stonehenge statue is a gate to the Cenobites. In my opinion, I think that Cochrane is like, you know, like a Shang Tsung evil wizard, but he has his master Shao Kahn. I think Cochrane belongs to, you know, whatever gods, and the gods are displeased that his androids have all been killed.
Do you think he dies at the end then, or goes back to...
I'd call him dead.
I don't think he dies. No, I kind of like... He's got like a tiny smirk on his face as he's like disappearing. As if he's like, oh yeah, like we'll just go back here and
I think he knows that his plan is going to work regardless, so he's like, fuck it, if I'm dead, it doesn't matter, it'll work. And then next time there's hundreds of people like me, millions of people like me, evil bastards.
I would say if you're not gonna think too much about where he is from, and that, I would say he's probably not even human. So that's probably not even his body. It's just the shell that he was using at the time.
Yeah, I like that.
Just before we move on, what it reminded you of Hellraiser 2. It reminded me a bit more of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where at the very end, you know, where everyone beams come out and it's like killing everyone. There is one more thing that I want. Just before all that happens, Chalice is like he's crouching up to like a computer, and there's like, I don't know, 50 buttons or something, and he's just button mashing. And I was just watching, thinking, like, what's he trying to do? There are no signs, there are no words on there to say which button does anything. So he's just pressing over and over again just to try and get the right on, and he does. And it all just starts out like eventually the advert comes on for them. Yeah.
I think when he's button mashing, I'm not sure if I remember this right, but when he is watching the Buddy family, I think he sees one of the droids actually type in like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. I think so.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong. I think so. I could be wrong. That's what I remember, but...
That has never clicked with me before. I thought he was just like randomly hitting stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that makes sense, actually, because when I watched it and he's watching the death of the Buddy family, he's looking over to his left at some point, and I took that to mean he didn't want to see what was happening to them because he was so horrified. But yeah, that makes sense now.
I think that's what happens anyway.
The villain has been defeated. His androids are gone. Dan and Ellie, they've got to do one thing, get out there and get this commercial off the air. But before they can do that, in another absolutely bonkers twist in this film, Ellie is now an android.
I did actually forget that bit at the end, and it did make me jump a bit. The sound effects in this are really scary, you know. The
She's actually a better actress as an android than she is as a human, because there is something very vacant about her.
Because she looks so innocent, I guess.
I found that bit very Evil Dead, like that he fights her off and stuff like that, and then gets back in the car and slams the door with the arms still on the inside, and he just texts him, and he's like, he's like, fuck. He gets back out of the car and starts fighting it.
Yeah.
You're right. It's Evil Dead, pure Evil Dead.
It's very.
And then what does he gets rid of? He fights the arm off then, doesn't he? And then he's fighting a headless corpse. Then tries to attack. It's like 3 jump scares.
I think it gets.
I do love that
more.
shot. Yeah, I love that shot where he's got her by the collar, and he just picks up this massive spanner and just wallops her head off. It's
so
pretty
good. Like, you know, the last scare. But I mean, it's not the last scare though, because we've got one more.
Yeah, there's like two more. Well, two more after that.
Which two are you thinking of?
Oh no, I mean like so. There's the one where she is thing. Then her arm attacks him, and then obviously her corpse attacks him. But I'm just confused. There's one bit because obviously he kills her, then gets back into the car, and then the arm attack as if he's gonna like drive off, and then the arm attacks him. So then he gets out the car, and then he just like kills her, and then he just runs off. Then maybe it's just like, oh god, if I get back in that car and something else attacks me,
her leg's gonna jump out at him.
It's just her other hand. It's just the hand thing coming out.
So he gets to the gas station from the start of the film where Ellie's dad was first found, and then he sees that the commercial's going to air, and then he phones up. Who does he phone? He phones up who was it? Like the king of television to like, you know, turn it off. So he gets the film pulled from the first station. I think he gets it pulled from the second station as well.
Yeah.
And he can't seem to get the film pulled from the third station. So the film ends. It's an awesome ending. It's one of my favourite Halloween endings, with Tom Atkins screaming into the phone, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" And then the film ends there.
Yeah, it's a great ending. I love it.
It's amazing, yeah.
Amazing film.
Just before that, though, conveniently, like the kids run in with the Halloween masks on, with the Silver Shamrock masks, and one of them runs up to a TV that's conveniently right there, and he flicks on the first channel, and then he gets it cancelled, and he flicks to the next one, then that gets cancelled, and he flicks to the third, and then that's the one you don't know whether it's actually going to.
Yeah, that's how Chalice realises that he's got the first two, but the third one he hasn't.
The third one, we don't see it ever turn off, but it's so like convenient that he's do you say it's a gas station in the middle of what looks like nowhere night, with just the attendant who is from the beginning of the film, and these kids are just like with the masks on. Like,
why?
They're not like teenagers who are fucking around. They're little kids, and they run in, and were they the attendants' kids? Maybe, I don't know, because they got masks on, so you can't see it, and it's like, yeah, what the fuck? But it's obviously it's there so that they can start the won't they end in the cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, which works really well. Yeah,
which I'm absolutely fucking cool with. I'm well into that because the whole film is like that. And if you're gonna watch it as a serious film, then you're not gonna enjoy it at all. So I'm not gonna think too deep shit like that.
It's a fun, dumb movie. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
Did anybody catch the? I don't know if this is maybe a reference to the Halloween 6 would have got from it, but there's a character called Mrs. Blankenship.
Yes.
And obviously she turns up in Halloween 6. Could be the same person. Well, no, because different universe, right? So, but who knows?
So Ellie is going through her dad's diary, and does she read out something like, "Oh, I'm dinner with Mrs. Blankenship"? Have I got that right?
Yes. Something like that. Yeah. I wonder if that was a reference for Halloween 6.
Okay, what do you guys want to do next? Do you want to do unanswered questions, or do you want to do the recasting? And Paul, I know you're dying to do the recasting.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so recasting Halloween 3. If it was made today, in 2024, who would you recast the role of Dr. Chalice to?
I'll go first. This is the first person that popped into my head, and I 100% assumed that you would both have the same person. So I would cast Josh Brolin.
Oh my goodness.
Shit. That's fucking good. No, I did not at all.
That's blown both of mine out of the water. Fuck me, yeah, well done.
Damn. Yeah, nice. Yeah, didn't even think of him.
Yeah.
That was so much better than my two answers.
Yeah, mine's awful.
I'm too ashamed to say mine now. I don't want to say them out loud.
Yeah, mine's awful. Again, I for some reason my mind can't comprehend this rule where it's got to be like cast nowadays.
Yeah, it's just like a remake of it today.
Who you would cast if you were directing?
Well, I oh God, I just couldn't. I've been racking my brain all day trying to think who I could think, and the only guy who I think just happens to look like him and would be thinking is Tom Selleck, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's too old to do it now.
I think, well, He has got that macho manliness about him, that old
That's
school.
what I mean. Yeah, like
Yeah,
like older guy with the mustache, and he's like,
like a Sam Elliott type.
Sam Elliott would be good. Yeah.
Like a Dan Severn,
Dan the Beast Severn, yeah. It's got to be like Dan the Beast Severn. Ooh.
funky mustache guy.
Speaking of wrestlers and MMA fighters, my choice for Dr. Chalice, I had two. So my first choice, and remember when I was watching this film, I was about 2 bottles of red wine deep, so I was hammered when I was coming up for this.
Who's this gonna be?
I chose Batista to be Dr. Chalice, Dave Batista. But I came up with a more serious answer when I looked into it. So I thought of
Batista.
he's awesome.
No, I know. It's just funny. I just imagining his character and things. But yeah.
I came up with Tommy Flanagan, who is Chibs from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I thought he could do a pretty good pissed up doctor role, and he's the right sort of age now, I think.
Yeah, that's a good show actually. Yeah.
But I think you've won that with Josh Brolin, Paul. I think I would love to see Josh Brolin play this role.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So if you were going to cast Ellie, who would you choose?
Right, so for Ellie, I have got Alison Brie.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah.
She actually does have some resemblance. She has got that age difference between her and Josh Brolin that Dan Atkins and Ellie have. She's a really good actress as well.
Oh, the girl from is she the one from? Is it Horse Girl?
Horse Girl, yeah.
Yeah, that's a sick. Yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah, from Community, which is what I know her from mostly. Glow, the
Scream 4, Mad Men.
Madman, yeah. Glow, that wrestling.
Oh, Scream 4, yeah.
She in Scream 4? Christ.
Apparently, and Scream 1, apparently.
What have I seen her in recently? I've seen her in something recently, and it's The Rental. She's in The Rental.
I've not seen that.
Good film.
No, I've not seen that either.
So I chose. There's this British actress called Joanne Froggatt. If you Google her, you'll know her face. She's in a lot of serious British dramas. ITV dramas, things like that. You'll know her if you Google.
Oh
her.
yeah. She's in Filth.
Yeah, Filth. Yeah.
Yeah. She's great.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Pretty nothing role, so I didn't. It was hard to find an actor that fit. I think it could go to anybody, this role, to be honest.
Well, I actually said this person on Halloween 1, but I think I did. She might be too big for the role. Well, she definitely would be, but it'd be Jenna Ortega again, because she just she looks like she's like the spitting image of her. The age difference is, and she's just got that young, innocent look about her, isn't she? So
I don't know how well it'll go down with Jenna Ortega and
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Jesus Christ!
Like getting off with each other and banging and stuff. I'm not an ageist or anything.
Paul, who did you have for Cochrane?
Let me just check mine out.
Well, James, who did you have for Cochrane?
So I thought Anthony Hopkins would be a good shout. To see him with a role where he could be a bit wild, but not take it too seriously and just act a bit crazy. I thought, yeah.
This isn't one of mine. This has just come to my head now, but I could imagine Patrick Stewart doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Go on, Paul. What's yours?
So my Cochrane is Terence Stamp. Thank you very much. So Terence Stamp to me is like I get him and Malcolm McDowell confused quite a bit.
I'm just looking now to see if I've seen anything that he's actually been in. Last Night in Soho.
Phantom Menace, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Superman.
He is like, for me, I have this thing about actors who I can't distinguish their faces between. So him and Malcolm McDowell have almost got the exact same face to them, even though they don't look alike.
I don't know. I'm looking at a few photos of him now. Like he looks like Malcolm McDowell when he's playing Loomis.
Yes, he does. Yeah,
a lot.
I had a few people. I thought like big Hollywood star like Hugo Weaving could do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or Jeff Goldblum if he wanted to have a laugh. Jeff Goldblum would be good.
Yeah.
But there is one person I did think of. Is Mark Gatiss would be pretty cool in the role.
The other person that I had was I cannot remember his name now. I didn't write it down. I never remember this guy's name, and I didn't write it down because I decided on Terrence Stamp. But so the guy from Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, the one who's in that corn video.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, you know him, Dan.
Oh, Udo Kier.
Udo Kier. Yeah,
the
that'd be
one
a well
who.
good shout. Yeah.
I thought you meant Mark Margolis for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Udo Kier would be great.
Yeah, legit. They've all got that same short grey spiky hair, and they all look really tanned and like English.
Yeah, that's it.
Who would you go for Ellie's dad?
What is it? I went for Michael Smiley.
Oh no, he'd be cool actually. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, I think he could pull that off.
He's got that nice side to him where you'd actually like care that they want to find out what happened to him. You know.
So I went with John Hawkes.
Ooh, John Hawkes.
You know, from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah, he was going to be one of my choices as well. Yeah.
What, for that role?
It might have been for that role, I think, because he looks like him, maybe. But he popped into my head, but I didn't write him down. But yeah, that's a good shout.
He is such a fucking good actor, though. He, like Martha Marcy May Marley, in that plays a cult leader, and he is fucking awesome in it. Really good film as well.
He's in he's in True Detective season 4. Sadly.
Yeah, sadly for him. Paul, did we get yours?
No, I chose Dean Winters.
I was going to use him for something else earlier as well.
I think, like, I struggled with this one because I could not think of anyone. And then I thought, I like Dean Winters. He is a good actor, but he's also kind of not. He's like cocky, and I wouldn't mind seeing him perish, So,
Seeing him get his head ripped off.
but yeah, Dean Winters for me.
So, who did you have for the Buddy family? Now, you don't have to do the kid, just the husband and wife.
So I really struggle with this, so I haven't actually got any for these. I had John Candy, but obviously he's dead, so.
I've got to admit, I absolutely fucking nailed this.
Go on, let's see.
So for Bud, I've got Lance Barber. He is,
Oh my god, yeah, that's such a good shout.
yeah, I know him from Sonny mostly. He's
Yeah, Bill
Bill
Ponderosa.
Ponderosa, yeah.
Yeah.
He's quite a comedic guy, can be serious. He's a big dude. He's got like a jolly, smiley kind of face. Looked very similar to Bud as well.
That's a hell of a good shout. Now.
For Bud's wife, I've got a really good one as well. I don't know if we're ready for that yet, but what have you all got?
So I had, for the Buddy family, because I thought of Mark Gatiss to play Cochrane, I thought of Steve Pemberton to play the dad, to play Buddy.
Oh, that's so good as well. Damn.
But couldn't really think of anyone for his wife, so I chose the British actress Maxine Peake, from Black Mirror, and
Yeah.
I think they make a good husband and wife combo, bit of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, great, yeah.
Yeah. For Bud's wife, I've got Artemis Danny, who is Artemis from Sunny.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
She's got a very similar face, and I know I was probably on the lines of thinking
Yeah.
Sunny actors, but I was like, yeah, it
She'd be
fucking
perfect.
it works.
I love the line of that, of her characters. Oh, I wonder what they do behind that door. She's like, don't ask me. She's just like the trophy wife, isn't she?
Yeah.
But that's a good shout.
That's
Yeah.
good.
How about the drunk homeless guy? Who have you got, Paul?
I didn't actually get anyone for this. When you said that, I was like, I've spent all my energy going.
My first thought was Jason Fleming.
Yeah. Nice.
From he's in everything, but from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, Lock, Stock, and I think I can see that definitely.
Oh yeah. Also from X-Men.
Last one. You can cast the androids. You just 3 of the androids. You can cast any 3 actors you want. Who would you choose?
So I've got 2 different options here now, and both would be very different types of film. So for one, my choices was Batista, if you wanted it to be that sort of film.
Fucking hell, you two, honestly.
I know. But then, like, in that film, they don't look like really menacing, do they? They're just kind of like, and they're quite young looking. So I went for Freddie Highmore.
Oh yeah,
because he's got that young look around him and like that blankness. So
good shout. Who have you got, Paul?
I've got the one who there are 2 main androids that I actually think of. There is the intro one who does the Harry kill, then sets himself on fire, explodes, and all that shit. And then there's the other one that's he rips the head off the homeless guy, and then they just stare at each other, and it's got like a
That's Dick Warlock.
yeah, Dick Warlock, yeah. Right, so Mark Duplass, the guy from Creep and Safety Not Guaranteed.
That's quite good.
I think he's a really good actor. I haven't seen him in much, but I haven't really looked into a lot of his filmography either.
I think he'd be perfect as an android.
Yeah, I think he needs more rep. And I've got another one as well, and you're probably going to think this is shit, but hear me out. The androids are like very smooth skinned, a bit puppet looking. They don't look like real humans. So for that reason, I went with Jim Parsons.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
He's got that look. I think he could pull that off.
I think so too, but it was partly just to piss you off because I know how much you hate Big Bang Theory.
I hate that show. I don't mind him.
I've never actually watched it really, so.
No, I always thought he was a relatively good actor from seeing him in that. I always thought he should be in more and not have to play a nerdy ass scientist or whatever. He's probably capable of one.
You could make the other androids Johnny Galecki and the other two.
That would actually add a bit of charm to the film and make it,
Yeah, maybe.
make it a bit funny. I'm sorry, when we're going to cast the Doctor as well, the one who gets drilled.
I forgot to do her, but if you want to do yours, go for it.
I wasn't going to because I hadn't thought of anyone, but finally I thought of Christina Hendricks.
That's who I was going to choose. I was going to choose her.
Seriously?
Honestly, yeah, I thought Christina Hendricks, but then in the end I thought, I just can't be asked casting her.
Oh, fair dues. I was just thinking of like ginger actresses, and she probably wouldn't go for a small role like that. She's a good actress, and she's ginger. And
This is a Josh Brolin film. Of course she'd want to be in on the ground floor.
Yeah. And Michael Smiley.
Oh, I cast my androids again because I was pissed when I was coming for this. I decided that the androids should be played by Kevin Nash, Diamond Dallas Page, and Sting without face paint.
no, Sting with face paint.
I'll Sting with face paint, yeah. Because Nash is in a lot of films where he plays, like a big bad guy. So I think just having him in it as an android would be pretty cool.
He'd be like the oldest android on the planet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's in his 60s now, I think.
Yeah, good shot.
I had, for the analyst, I can't say her name, Drea DiMatteo from The Sopranos.
Yeah, Drea DiMatteo. Oh, she's a quality actress.
Yeah, she is, and she's so good.
Unanswered questions time.
Okay,
right. First one. How did Cochrane steal a 9-ton stone from Stonehenge and transport it all the way from England to California without anybody noticing?
I've got an answer.
Go on then.
It was magic.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? Actually, don't they move like buildings and stuff on ships?
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is he's got to steal it without anybody seeing. Like, they can get it over, they could transport it over to California, but the fact is they've got to dig it up from Salisbury, get it onto a ship it across the sea, then get it onto a truck and truck it all the way across from like Baltimore to the West Coast. Like, how are they doing this without any single person noticing?
Because no one gives a fuck about like a giant rock.
you could just put it in like a housing.
It's on the news. They say like, oh, a stone from Stonehenge has gone missing. Like, Interpol are looking for it.
Right, if that was on the news today, right? If that was on the news today, right? I was walking on the street and I saw a truck with a massive stone on it drive past. I probably wouldn't even like think that it was the same thing. I'd just be like, it's probably like I'd probably think it's from a quarry or something, you know what I mean? Or they're breaking it up to turn it into sand or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't, but the police are supposed to be looking for it.
Yeah, but they could go a secret way. Like it's not that hard, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Or they just put a big tarp over it, right? And then sold. But yeah, no, I like your answer, the magic. Because I think the whole film's weird and like that. So I kind of like that answer.
Well, he is magical. Like, how does a tiny little chip in the back of a mask that is activated by an advert on the TV?
Yeah.
How does that create fucking snakes and insects inside someone's head? Yeah, magic. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. I say magic. Or time travel somehow.
Yeah.
Time. Magic's probably the best answer. Or time travel, I said, but I don't know how that would work.
Okay, next question. When did Ellie turn into an android?
In between the time that she was the same as Chalice and by the time that Chalice rescued her.
So in 10 minutes they made this Ellie android.
Right, so maybe they started copying her image earlier on, Maybe they've got a copy of everybody. He didn't rescue her. He rescued the android, which was probably there to make. I don't know. Maybe they had the android secure in a place so that they knew that it was safe that it wasn't going to kill them before they let it free and started using it. He rescued the android, obviously. Or maybe she was from the beginning.
That's what I think. I think she was from the beginning because she turns up out the blue and goes, "That was my dad," and everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." But there's no evidence that that was her dad. She could just be like a spy. But then I don't know what.
Oh yeah,
Well, she's got to sacrifice herself for the line of duty. She's like James Bond.
the spy who shagged him.
Do you reckon he'd notice though? Maybe or not?
I don't know.
Maybe she had yellow cum.
Okay, last question. Is there any way that this film, Halloween 3, could take place in the same universe as the Michael Myers Halloween films? Or are they strictly separate universes?
That's a really good question.
Apart from the TV ad of the original Halloween and the fact that the woman's voice telling everyone that the curfew is up is Jamie Lee Curtis, if you forget those, I reckon you could definitely have it in the same universe. So, like, Michael as a child is a child who has somehow been contaminated by Silver Shamrock, and he's been like made to try and kill people. He only got away with one at the time, and then later on, he is being controlled by the mask that he wears, or maybe he is an android. So that there could be, if you wanted to, there could have been a film after it that linked the two through one of those.
Well, they move exactly the same, don't they? The androids are surely like based on Michael Myers' movements.
It could be something to do with the cult. Could be the same cult. It could both be the cult of Thorn, couldn't it? Because Cochrane mentions, the planets are in alignment. That's why we can do this harebrained scheme. But in Halloween 6, I think Tommy Doyle says something similar. Whenever the Thorn constellation appears, he appears.
Yeah. So Constellation Stars with his Michael Myers screensaver.
So if this was the same universe, in the world of Halloween 3, they could have made a film based on the babysitter murders that happened in the same universe. So what he's watching on TV could be like a documentary, or it could be like a film. Like Stab in Scream.
Yeah.
It could be an in-universe film.
That's how I would say you would do it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. It's better that they're separate, but, if you were going to try.
No, I'm just looking through my notes now. One of them is... just that Dr. Dan just loves putting his arm around women characters. Every woman in it, he does.
It's because he's banging every woman in the film.
Yeah, legit, yeah.
I think he actually is, really.
He's meant to be as well. It's not just like us guessing that he is. His character's probably...
There's a reason his ex-wife is so pissed off with him. And it's not just because he's a crap dad. Like, I think he just can't keep his dick in his pants. Right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up here because we've probably gone over time again. Give me your winners, your losers, your MVPs, your VIPs, your final thoughts. What do you think about this film?
I think it was just a perfectly silly film that had a decent amount of real horror mixed along with just complete absurd plots and acting and characters. And I think it's just a full-on winner of a film. It's just that I can't complain about it. Like, I don't think anyone can. Yeah, it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, but like, don't watch it as a as a Halloween film. I don't think you can go wrong with it. It's horrifying, but it's also hilarious and daft. It's a good time. It's fun.
It's a good time.
Yeah, same. I think I like that it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's funny, but again, like the kills in it and stuff like that are actually so horrific. But yeah, I just think it's just so fun to watch, and like, if I have kids, I would definitely show this film to them.
I'm with you guys. It's a perfect horror story. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Got that 80s charm. Absolute banger of a film. It's a fun time, popcorn film.
Yeah, I think as well the time it was made as well is what makes it special. Now looking back, it's got that aesthetic around it. Whereas I can imagine now if they tried to do something like this today, like a Harlan Coben Netflix TV show, it would so...
Right, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me.
No bother. Thanks for having me.
No dramas. All good. Cheers, man.
So we will be coming back for the next episode. Fingers crossed. We're going to be returning to Michael Myers. How do you feel about that?
I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah.
I've been excited for them all, to be fair, but yeah, I'm excited to see, because I know you hate it, brother, and I know you love it, Paul, and I like it.
I haven't watched it in years, so I'm gonna have a break for Halloween from the rest of the week, and I'm gonna get my head down, watch it, make my notes, and then we'll see where we land.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it tonight. It's one of my favorites. I've always said it is my favorite, but it's not. But like, it's definitely something that I look back fondly on Halloween 4.
I rate it. I think it's good.
Right, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Nice one. See you in a bit.
Thank you for listening to Dark Talk. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing or leaving us a review. If you want to get in touch, please send an email to us at dark.talk.pod@gmail.com. That's dark.talk.pod@gmail.com.